Hello and thanks for joining me in this video. Easy cube bookcase build for a cool backdrop to your YouTube studio. It's a great idea for storage as well. I'm going to give you a quick overview in this video to show you what it is, how it works. Firstly, when I saw it on Amazon, I thought it was a joke. The way it's set up, it's not actually excellent. It's like a plastic setup, little boxes that you make up yourself. I'm showing you a few overlays here of the different setups that I've tried using in our podcast, just to give you an idea of the flexibility. And you know what? I'm quite surprised because I bought some extra little cube storage bins as well separately, which I put in the bottom. But what I'm going to do in this video is give you an overview of how to set it up. It's a great bookcase idea. So if you're going to be storing books, it will handle a few books in each cube. So how it's actually made, it's a metal frame. And inside that metal frame, it's basically a plasticky type material. Think about a material that's quite thick and taut. They've actually put it on. So each cube holds its own weight, and you can actually use a number of different things. I've tried putting a couple of Amazon boxes inside here, and those held quite well with quite a few lenses, to be honest, camera lenses and cameras, and it's quite heavy. It distributes the weight quite nicely. So I wanted to give you an idea of what you can expect if you buy this. What actually is this? In the description, I will put a link to what it actually is, and it's classed as, there's a few different types, but a bookcase, cube bookcase, and there's different types you can get. You can get a unit bookshelf storage cube organizer. They call it like a multi-use DIY storage shelf cubby hole. You can have toys, you can have books, you can have clothes. It can be in different parts of the room of the house. You can see I've sped this up 10 times. It took me about 45 minutes to put it all together. I'm going to speak to you about the pros and the cons. There are a few things that you want to think about with this. It's very lightweight. It slots together. So you can see how I'm putting it together here. What I'm actually doing is I'm putting it in and slotting each section together. You have to put quite a bit of pressure on it, and they give you a little hammer with it just to make sure it slots into place. And you put them into cubes. Think of like a giant Meccano Lego type set. You can make it in different designs. This is a 16 cube layout, and I found that I wanted to make it like a step ladder type situation. So like small shelf, 2 cubbies, 3 cubbies, 4 cubbies, and 5 cubbies. And I tested that in the background. It looked okay, but then I decided to go a different route where I made them just all the same size. So when they're behind us, and especially a YouTube studio, if you have like a setup where you've got a camera, if you want a blurry background, the best way to do that is get really close to your camera and then have something interesting in the background, which is a bit blurred out. This is why we've got this cubby shelf. I didn't want to go down the wood route because that'll be heavy and then a lot of putting together. Whereas this one, if we change this room around, we can easily fold these down and they just fit into one box. So they're great for storage. If you live in an apartment or you're moving quite frequently, it's going to be a great option for you to be basically portable and have a nice little setup for yourself. So what you'll see here me doing is I'm using the first shaft where we did like 1, 2, 3 cubes high. And there's a certain way of doing this. You want to start from one side and slowly move along. I should have made it one row at a time. You'll notice I made a column there, and it's quite tricky trying to stick that together. So if you stick out one row, do the first bottom row, then the second row, then the third row, you'll actually find it a lot easier. The caps themselves, there's some that are longer, which you use on the feet, and there's some that are round, which you use intersection of each corner. And if you put something heavy in there and try and lift it, it will unclip itself. So it's not like a permanent solution. It's more like a camera friendly type setup. So if you're setting up like a video studio, it's perfect for that because on camera it looks brilliant. But when you touch it, it is lightweight. It's more of like a canvas plastic material. And if you put something pointy on it, you will rip it. So you want to make sure that you're evenly distributing the weight on there, and you're making sure that it's going to be in a place where it's least amount of movement, or basically you don't want to mess it up is what I'm trying to get with that. And with this, you do get a few colors. I bought the black one. They do a transparent one as well. And the cubes themselves, you're looking at about 25 centimeters by 25 centimeters. So you can buy the actual little boxes. So when you assemble it, you'll see there's a few different types of setups you can do with it. And I wouldn't put heavy books in there. You'll attach this to the wall, probably be a good idea. It gives you like a little, what you call it, like a little piece of fabric and a few screws, so you can actually tighten it up against the wall. And the shelves, over time, I'm wondering the frame of it, will it last? So I'll do another follow-up video to let you know how it actually feels and looks like over time. You can't put a TV on this. You can't put anything heavy. Anything above 4 or 5 kilograms I'll be worried about. So maybe a couple of books. And to give you an exact measurement, is more like 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters cubed. So, well, 30 centimeters cubed. I don't need to say it 3 times because it's cubed. Can the shelves be wall mounted? You can mount them to the wall. They have got little cable ties, so you can tie each section together to give more of a permanent fixture. But for what I'm doing, if you're doing something like this, where you're setting up a YouTube studio or a podcast studio and you want some like interesting background, this is going to be a great budget option, because I think I paid something like $39.99 for this. So for that price, I'm actually quite happy to have something of this lower quality. However, visually it is very pleasing, because if you see that in the background, it looks like those IKEA cubes, you know, the ones that they used to sell a while back, and everybody used to have them in their backgrounds. However, it's even better than that, because you can fold it down, you can change the shape of it just by clipping it all together. What are the pros of this? It's easy, it's lightweight, you can adjust it how you want it, you can move it around the room easily if there's nothing inside it. The cons of this are you can't put anything heavy in there, you can't have loads of books on these, because I think it will sag over time. And what else would I say? I would say for lightweight background interest and lighting it up with LEDs to make it look a bit fancy, it'll be perfect. On ours, we're planning to just put some of the memorabilia from the podcast, like little bits and bobs, like a few toys. We've got some anime characters in boxes. I'm going to have those in there. A few of the 3D puzzle toys that I play with. Just regular things that we've accumulated over time. So like a bit of a display shelf. So if you've got maybe a collection of model cars or cups or anything of that sort. So you can see my process here. What I've done is basically like a 45-minute that I've just sped up for you. And first, I wasn't sure what I was doing, because I made a few where they were really high. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4, and then 3, and I had 2 left over. So I went along that route, and I thought this looked nice. But if you've got a staircase or something, this would look excellent on that, because you can actually have it, you know, tailored to your staircase. I wasn't sure what format my setup will be to start off with, so I did a little bit of testing and I did a live stream. So if you actually look back on my hyping tech video, you'll see me live doing this, and you can watch the full thing for any like more detailed things. I did also buy these little cubes, which actually are like made out of cardboard. They're nice and easy to put together, and they fit in the lower sections. You can hide away all the mucky like wires and stuff, because inevitably we can have stuff where we've got extra microphones, extra wires and all that stuff. These work very nice because they're nice and easy fabric setup. You can get them in a few different colors. I went for gray because the theme in this room seems to be gray and black. And you will see at the end of this video, keep us tuned out, you'll see what this ended up looking like. And in my next video, I will be actually doing the soundproofing panels on the wall. So make sure you check out the next video in this series where you'll see a lot more about that. Get that. Ask them to do that for me for 30 seconds.
£20 maybe.
Okay. Okay, it wasn't £20. Is that a lot?
Yes, that's more than enough. More than a lot.
Okay, what's the magic number you're saying here?
I said £20.
Yeah. So how much is that?